Welcome. Today we're going to start lying on our backs. So if your low back needs a little extra support, you're going to keep your knees bent, feet out to the width of the mat, and knees resting against one another, however is comfortable. If your low back is comfortable, you're going to extend your legs all the way out to about the corners of the mat. Relax your hips, let your feet maybe open wide if that's comfortable. And then hands, arms, wherever they feel most comfortable at this time. So that could be resting on your body, alongside, even up above your head. And then I want you to go ahead and just close your eyes. Absolutely feel free to adjust anything that you need to as you're lying here if you find that it's not quite comfortable yet. And then I want you to just feel the parts of your body connecting to the earth, connecting to the mat. Probably the shoulder blades, maybe the glutes, maybe areas around your spine, parts of the arms, maybe the backs of the hands or the wrists, edge of the wrist or palm, heels, maybe the soft parts, backs of the legs, if legs are extended. And then start to notice how heavy all of this is. How heavy your legs are, your arms, your head even, your torso, maybe even your jaw. You start to feel the heaviness of just keeping your mouth closed, lips lightly touching. All this weight that we carry around from the moment we get up out of bed. And then I want you to start to feel yourself breathing. So as always, if it's comfortable, begin breathing in and out through just your nose if you're not already doing so. But if this is not an option for you at any point, breathe however you need to. What's most important is that you are breathing and breathing relaxed and deep. So as you shift awareness onto your breath, feel if you can feel your belly expand up, maybe even out to the sides. Same with the ribs. Maybe the breath then comes up into the ribs and they expand out, and then up into the chest. As you exhale, feel how all of that just contracts without effort. It just relaxes back in. Our expansion sometimes can really be what we feel. Or if we've been fighting, working on expanding for so long, the letting go maybe is what you feel more. When you finally release that tension, that heaviness, not just physically, but we feel this mentally, emotionally. Letting go with those exhales, anything that's not serving you, that is not necessary in this moment. Thoughts, maybe it's emotions that arise, maybe it's just tension in the body. And then I want you to bring palms down alongside your hips, palms into the mat. Take a moment to spread your fingers wide and then actually press down into those palms, into those fingertips. Feel the muscles of the hands, the fingers firing up. You'll feel the wrists, the forearms start to engage, maybe even pressing the edge of the forearms down into the mat. And then you're going to feel that fire up into the upper arms, shoulders, chest. Still able to breathe deep, so not restricting that movement through your torso, not tightening through the chest so much that it can't rise and fall with the breath. And then if legs are straight, go ahead and start to bend the knees, bringing your feet up, and then we'll all shift feet right behind the hips. So hips, knees, and toes all in one nice straight line. And then let's just start a bridge flow. So as you inhale, start to push into those feet, start lifting, rolling the spine up from the mat. Hips lifting, weight on the backs, upper back, head, backs of arms, and those feet. As you exhale, rolling it back down. If for any reason this is uncomfortable, as always, you can modify, you can totally opt out of a pose today. Otherwise, we'll continue flowing with the breath. Inhale, starting to activate the muscles of the legs. Exhale, rolling down. Eyes can still be closed. I want you to feel, do the hips stay level, or is one leg, one glute a little stronger than the other? As you press up, do you feel more the right hip coming up, or is it kind of wobbling a little? If hips are fatigued or legs are fatigued, you might feel that a little more. The same with as you roll down, we're rolling the spine down, using the strength of the legs, slow, easy with control. We're going to inhale, press those hips up one more time, and we're going to pause and hold it here. Palms still pressing actively down into the mat. And then feel the breath now. The internal organs have kind of slid back towards the spine, but now they're kind of actually sliding up towards the diaphragm. So you might see or just feel those belly breaths a little bit more. That's the diaphragm pushing down against those internal organs, claiming its space for your lungs. Maybe one more deep breath in. Maybe lift your hips just a little bit higher. And as you exhale, rolling it all the way back down. And then hug those knees into your chest. Release any tension in your spine from those hip flexors. Feel free to rock that side to side a little bit, whatever feels good there. And then let's release the left foot down to the mat and right leg all the way out to the mat. So straight right leg, bent left leg. And then we're just going to do a little bit of abdominal work. We're just going to inhale the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, slowly again with control, lowering it back down. It could lower just hovering above the mat, or if it doesn't strain your back, all the way tapping that heel back down. And then we're going to keep flowing it up and down. And I want you to just do a little pointing and flexing of that foot. So as you inhale, point the toes, reaching the toes towards the sky. Exhale, flexing the foot, pull those toes back, lowering the heel towards the mat. Flowing there a few times. And again, feeling how much the body can engage. Press into those palms, edges of the arms, backs of shoulders. So chest starts to engage. You're going to feel this all the way through the core, through the ribs, the obliques, the chest even. Maybe one more flow on that right side. And then we're actually going to float the leg back up towards the sky. We're going to either let it float on its own, or we can bring the fingertips to the edges of the thigh, or even wrapped around the back of the thigh if the hamstring's feeling flexible. And then we're just going to start circling the foot to the right, circling the foot to the left, noticing if the ankle's fatigued. And then we're going to just pause and hold that there for a moment, noticing how it feels just to hold that leg up. The core again has to engage. The hip flexor may be engaging to help stabilize that leg there. One more deep breath in, and then as you exhale, lower that leg back down to the mat one more time. Once the heel comes down, bend that knee and then straighten the left leg out. As you inhale, go ahead and begin that flow. Left leg floating up towards the sky, the ceiling. Exhaling with control, lowering that leg again, whether it's to hover, whether it comes all the way down to tap. And that may be dependent on if you start to feel it in your low back. Sometimes tapping it all the way down, you're going to start to feel the low back pull up or start to engage. We want the core doing that work. So seeing if back can be relaxed. And pointing and flexing that foot as you flow. Inhales, pointing the toes. Exhales, flexing the foot as you lower. Maybe just 2 more flows on that left side. And then once that comes back down, let's just inhale the leg back up one more time. Again, maybe it floats on its own, palms stay at the hips. Maybe we bring fingertips to the edges of the thigh, inner and outer, or maybe wrapping all the way behind that hamstring. And then just start circling the foot to the left, circling the foot to the right. And then we'll go ahead and release, lower that leg back down. And then go ahead and bend at the knees, sliding that in. Let's go ahead and hug those knees into the chest again. Maybe rock that side to side a little bit. And then we're going to release the feet back down, keeping knees bent. We're going to windshield wiper the legs. So we're going to widen those feet out to the edges of the mat. Palms again down by the hips, just kind of helping to balance you out as we rock both knees towards the right, back up through center and over towards the left. And we'll just continue that gentle rocking as always, slow and with control. And how far you rock those knees over depends on how your back, your hips, your obliques are feeling with that. They might almost come all the way down to the mat. And maybe just rock those side to side one more time. And then we'll bring those knees back up to neutral, hug those in one more time. And then you can either tuck hands to the backs of the thighs behind those knees, rock forward and back if that's comfortable, or just rock to your side and then press yourself up. We're going to make our way up to child's pose. So once you come up, sit back on those heels, forehead maybe down to the mat, or as always could be to stacked fists. If forehead is to the mat, extend those arms out nice and long. Taking a moment to just rest and breathe there. Perhaps feeling that weight a little bit differently here. The weight sinking your forehead down to rest, sinking the weight of your body down over those thighs. And then we're going to inhale, come up to tabletop to all fours. And right away you can begin a flow of cat and cow. So as you inhale, cow, let the belly hang, stretching, compressing the spine as you exhale, stretching the spine out as you round that back towards the sky. And we'll just continue to flow a few times there, kind of just stretching out those abdominals that we just worked a little bit, create a little more space, a little more room to breathe. Maybe just one more flow. And then we're just going to take a little bit of spinal balance, but we're actually going to hold the spinal balance. Normally we do a flowing spinal balance. So we're going to have those hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips. If your wrists need a little extra support, absolutely feel free to take that fist for a wrist, extending the bend, the crease in the wrist there. And then we're going to inhale up, right arm straight forward, left leg straight back. And we're going to see if we can pause and hold this. So notice if the right hip has lifted, if it's elevated higher than the left. If it has, see if you can challenge yourself to keep those hips level. It's going to take a little more control, a bit more strength. Same with the shoulders. Has the right, I think I said the right hip, but it was the left hip. It has the right shoulder lifted higher than the left. Balance those out. Gaze down at the mat. So the back of the neck is long, so straight spine. And then extend through those right fingertips as far as they'll go, and maybe spread the fingers wide. And then maybe it feels good to flex that left foot, press the heel back, or maybe it feels better to you to extend the toes and reach those toes back. And you may be wobbling a little bit here. If you want a little more engagement, then we're going to imagine as though the back of that left elbow and that right middle of the thigh, the parts that are on the ground, that they are squeezing towards each other. Feel how that immediately fires up more of the left obliques and the right obliques. Maybe you feel the right obliques up a little higher, left a little lower. You can stay as you are. As always, you can come out, or we're going to inhale, stay extended, exhale. We're going to squeeze the right elbow and the left knee towards each other, bending knee and elbow. And let's do that about 3 times. So continuing, inhale, getting long, trying to hold everything stable. Exhale's curling it in. Maybe one more flow. And then after the exhale, release that hand down, release that knee down. Feel free to cat-cow, shake out the wrist, whatever you need. And then when you're ready, right palm down, left knee down. We'll inhale, left arm forward, right leg straight back. And again, we're just going to pause and hold there. And you're going to make this your own pose. So maybe you point those back toes, maybe flex the foot. Extend through those left fingers. Trying to, again, keep hips level, keep shoulders level, head gazing down towards the mat so that head is in line with the spine. And then maybe you imagine as though that elbow and that thigh are squeezing towards each other, intensifying. Or maybe you stay a little more relaxed. Maybe this is already challenging enough for you. A few breaths here. And again, you can absolutely stay as you are, or on the inhale, we're in that extended position. Exhale, squeezing the left elbow, the right knee towards each other. And we'll just do that maybe about 3 times. Still working on maintaining level torso. It's okay if it wobbles a little bit. We're trying to use that control. Maybe one more flow on that left side. And then after the exhale, release that hand under the shoulder, that knee underneath the hip. And again, feel free to take a couple of cat-cows or just little spinal movement. And then next we're going to take a psoas stretch. So we're going to bring those hands back underneath the shoulders as they are probably already there. And then we're going to extend the right leg straight back and we're going to tap those right toes down to the mat. Maybe even kind of push those into the mat. And then we're actually going to pick up that right leg and cross the foot all the way out to the outer left edge of the mat. So all the way over the left leg out to that left side. And then again, we can kind of push those right toes. They could be bent, pressing the right pad of the foot into the mat. And then to really stretch that psoas, if it feels good, we're going to kind of arc the spine a little bit, kind of create a crescent moon shape and look back. Turn the neck, look back towards that big right toe. Breathing there. And you might be feeling this down through the lower back, back of hips. That psoas is wrapping around and connecting back there. A few breaths there. That should feel good. So if it doesn't, absolutely, as always, modify or just come right back out. Maybe one more deep breath in. Exhale, go ahead and unwind that. Bring the right knee underneath the right hip. And then on the inhale, we'll extend the left leg back, tap or press those toes back into the mat for a moment. And then we're going to bring that left foot over to the right side of the mat. Bring the left foot to the outer right edge of the mat. Tapping or pressing that down, and then crescent moon shape, turning and gazing back towards that left big toe. Breathing deep there. Excellent. Again, this should feel good. If it doesn't, modify or just make your way out. Maybe one more deep breath. As you exhale, unwind, release that knee. And then we're just going to release back to child's pose, pausing to rest and breathe there for a few moments. Noticing how the body feels in this moment. And then let's prepare for downward facing dog. Extend the arms out, hands shoulder distance apart. Take your time to tuck those toes, lift those hips up and back towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Pedaling out the feet for a few moments. And then we will inhale the right leg up and back towards the sky, and then point and flex that foot a few times. Circle the foot to the left, circle the foot to the right, and then flex that foot, pausing there a moment. Notice if the right hip has lifted higher than the left. See if you can level those out, a little more challenging. And then we'll step that right foot forward up into our high lunge, pausing there a moment, firming up those feet onto the mat. And then we can inhale, sweep, reach the arms up towards the sky, sweep the torso up. Interlace the fingers above the head except for the thumb and pointer. And then creating a crescent moon shape, bringing the fingertips towards the right. Deep breath there. And then we'll straighten back up towards the sky. As you exhale, release those hands back down to the mat. And then we're going to walk those fingertips out further in front of the foot, placing fingertips down, or you can place hands on a block, and see if we can press up into the right foot and float the left leg up and back into warrior 3 legs, flexing that left foot straight behind you. And then knowing hands can always stay connected to the mat or to a block, or perhaps you would like to bring those up to the chest, palm to palm. Maybe you want to extend them back into airplane arms alongside the hips, reaching those back, or maybe extending both arms out, depending on how strong and how supported the core is feeling, so that the back is feeling supported. So find where you feel your best challenge. Just a couple of breaths there. And reaching, if you are reaching hands at all, reaching through those fingertips, whether it's forward or back by the hips, reaching through that heel. And then with an exhale, release the hands back down to the block or the mat. Release the left foot down alongside the right. So into a forward fold. Immediately bend the knees if that feels best. Ease into this. Maybe sway it around just for a little bit, a few moments. And then we'll inhale, sweep, reach, stand it all the way up, reaching for the sky. As you exhale, go ahead and swan dive all the way back down to forward fold. We're going to place the hands and step the left leg back, so back through the right lunge. And then we'll go ahead and step right foot back, coming back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to inhale left leg up and back, 3-legged down dog, extending through those toes, straightening out that foot, stretching that ankle. Again, we're going to pause and hold it here. Notice if the left hip has lifted higher than the right. Challenge yourself to maybe lower that back down. Deep breath. And as you exhale, now seeing if you can step with control that left foot all the way up towards the left hand, high lunge on that left side. Again, checking, we want to adjust until we've got that knee over the heel. And then we can inhale, sweep, reach the arms up, the torso up, taking a moment to just breathe and extend up through those fingertips through the crown of your head. Tipping that slightly towards the left, crescent moon shape through the torso. Few breaths there, strengthening and also stretching through that right side. And then with an inhale, straightening that up. Exhale, let the hands come apart, down to hands to the mat. And then maybe walk those fingertips forward or bring that block underneath the hands forward. And then seeing if we can move into warrior 3 legs on that left side. Stepping up onto the left foot only, flexing the right foot straight back from the right hip. Hands maybe come to the chest, or maybe they stay connected to the mat. Maybe they extend back by the hips, airplane arms, or maybe they extend out forward. Noticing if the right hip, it's natural for it to want to raise a little higher than the left. See if you can challenge yourself maybe to keep those hips level. Extending through the crown of your head either way. Big flex in that right foot, maybe pushing that heel as far back as it will go while extending through that crown of the head, or maybe even fingertips if they're extended. As you exhale, release the fingertips, release the foot back to forward fold. Take a moment, stretch it, sway it around. We're just going to take a gentle ragdoll, widen the feet a little wider than the hips. If it's comfortable, let the arms just dangle, maybe even interlace hands into the elbow creases, bending at the elbows. And there, take a few moments to sway it around, maybe forward and back, side to side, or even figure 8s with the elbows. And then maybe nod the head as if you're saying yes. Turn it side to side as if you're saying no. Maybe circle the head to the left. Maybe circle the head to the right. And then we'll slowly release those hands back down to the mat. Step right foot back, back through high lunge on the left side. And then stepping left foot back, downward facing dog. And then just release the knees, untuck the toes back down to a child's pose. A few breaths there. And then we'll go ahead and actually come all the way up to seated, and we're actually going to go ahead and come all the way down to your back already. So go ahead and lie down, hug those knees back into your chest, maybe rock that side to side a few times. And then from there, we're going to release right foot to the mat, keeping right knee bent. And then we're going to just take figure 4. We're going to bring the left foot or the left edge of the ankle just above that right knee, flexing that left foot. Maybe first just take a moment to just kind of bring the palm to the inner left thigh and just give that a little push away, stretching that inner hip. And then we're going to find the stretch on the opposite side in the left glute. We're going to see if it feels good to start bringing the right knee a little closer towards your torso. Hands wrapping around either the back of that right thigh behind the knee, or they could wrap around the blade of that left foot as well. We're just going to pause and breathe there. Keep your head relaxing down to the mat. So we're not doing a crunch with the torso. We're just bringing the leg towards us. Feeling that in that left outer hip, left glute, breathing deep into this spot. Maybe just one more deep breath. And then exhale, go ahead and release the right foot down. Go ahead and release the left foot down. Pick up that right foot, crossing that right foot or ankle just above that left knee, flexing that right foot now. And again, take that first moment to, if it feels okay, bring palm to the inner right thigh, kind of just push that away from you. Stretching that front or inner right hip. And then changing that into our figure 4, more of a pigeon feel, stretching that outer right hip, right glute. Start bringing that foot, that left knee in a little bit closer. Hands wrapping either, again, around the back of the leg or maybe around the blade of that right foot. And if it feels good, squeezing that in a little closer. And again, we're not crunching, we're not shrugging the shoulders up. So let those stay relaxed down. Just use the strength of the arms or the strength of that left leg to bring that foot a little closer if that's within your range. Couple of breaths there. And then we'll slowly release that foot back down to the mat. Go ahead and release the right down as well. We're just going to take a brief supine spinal twist so arms can extend straight out from the shoulders or into cactus arms. Bring the knees up towards the torso, so feet up away from the mat. Rock those knees over to the left side. Once the knees come over, maybe turning your chin, your gaze towards the right. And we're just going to relax and breathe here for a few moments. And this is not a working twist. This is a relaxing twist. So if you're holding on, maybe you need to unwind slightly, modify. Maybe you need to come all the way out. Or maybe you can just simply let go at this moment. Maybe even let the eyes come to close. Let the visuals go. Just a couple of breaths here. And then we will, with an inhale, unwind the spine, knees, chin come back up. Feel free to hug those in, to rock those side to side a few times. And then we're just going to reverse. Knees lifted, feet away from the mat. Rock the knees over to the right side. And then maybe chin towards the left. Again, modify, adjust, make your way out if that's what's best for you. We're just going to work on letting go. Sometimes the hardest part of our human experience and our yoga experience is the letting go. Seeing if you can soften every exhale as though it's whispering to you to just soften, to let go. Maybe one more full breath as you are. And then we'll start to unwind, bring the chin, bring the knees back up to center. Feel free to hug that in, rock that around. We're going to take a supine butterfly pose. So let the feet come down, soles of feet turn in to touch, knees open wide. And first thing is we're just going to let legs be heavy. Relax. Hands, arms, wherever they're comfortable. Sometimes that moves up onto the hip bones or the abdomen. Maybe it's relaxing above your head, or maybe it's just relaxing out alongside your hips, a few inches out. Let your legs be heavy. Notice if you're feeling much of anything. Maybe you're really feeling this in the inner thighs, the hips. Maybe you're feeling it kind of pulling in the low back. You can always come out early. You can stay relaxing, or I want you to start to really actively push the soles of the feet into each other. You're going to feel those legs, those hips fire up, maybe even abdominals. And then I want you to lift the knees about an inch higher than what they just were. So we're creating a lot of tension in those legs. Maybe even feel it in the glutes. Legs might be shaking or even flapping a bit here. Lift those knees another inch. Blade of the foot of each foot still on the mat and pressing those feet firmly into each other. One more inch lift, really pressing those feet into each other. And again, legs, it's normal for them to be really bouncing around here, or maybe they're not doing much of anything. And then gently let go of that tension. Relax the pressure between the feet. They're still touching, but not pushing them into each other. Let the legs become heavy again. A few very deep belly breaths. Maybe a few exhales out through the mouth. If you've ever been through anything traumatic, something very emotional, once you start to calm down, the body naturally takes deep inhales and then exhales out through the mouth. Your body is intelligent. It knows how to let go. And then we're going to move into relaxation next. So feel free to bring those knees back up, hug those in, and then coming down, however feels best as always for relaxation. If we need a bolster, a rolled blanket behind the knees, maybe we don't have those things. Maybe we need to keep knees bent, feet wide, inner knees resting against one another, or maybe your back feels fantastic and you can just let those legs extend out straight with no support behind the knees, feet to the corners of the mat, toes relaxing open wide. If you use an eye pillow, go ahead and place it over your eyes at this time. And then hands, arms, typically a few inches out alongside the hips, palms rolling up. And we'll do our usual walk through of our body, ensuring each and every part gets fully relaxed. I relax my feet and ankles. My feet and ankles are completely relaxed. I relax my shins, calves, and knees. My shins, calves, and knees are completely relaxed. I relax my thighs and hamstrings. My thighs and hamstrings are completely relaxed. I relax my hips and pelvis. My hips and pelvis are completely relaxed. I relax my hands and wrists. My hands and wrists are completely relaxed. I relax my forearms, elbows, and upper arms. My forearms, elbows, and upper arms are completely relaxed. I relax my upper back, middle back, and lower back. My upper, middle, and lower back are completely relaxed. I relax through my abdomen and ribs. My abdomen and ribs are completely relaxed. I relax through my chest and shoulders. My chest and shoulders are completely relaxed. I relax my neck, face, and jaw. My neck, face, and jaw are relaxed. My entire body is fully relaxed. My entire body is fully and completely relaxed. Slowly start to bring your awareness back in, starting with that sensation of breath, traveling in and just releasing back out. And then let awareness come to rest in the center of your palms, noticing any sensations there. And then bringing in your own sensations, starting to wiggle or stretch your fingers or your toes. And then that might eventually become a full body pencil stretch or just a hug of the knees into your chest, releasing any pressure in the low back. Once that feels complete, you can rock and rest on your right side. Right arm supporting the head, maybe knees curling in. Eyes can still be relaxed and closed. Take your time, but eventually when that feels complete, you can start to press yourself back up to whatever seated position feels most comfortable at this moment. As always, it doesn't have to be cross-legged, whatever feels good. And then hands and arms finding a place to settle and rest, whether that's up on the knees, the thighs, or down in the lap. And taking a moment just to check in. How are you feeling at this moment? How is the body feeling? The mind? Maybe even the emotions. And then we'll go ahead and connect our palms together at the center of the chest, sealing our practice together. Thank you so much for joining me. It is always my honor to teach you. Namaste.